The idea that reshaped biology almost died on Darwin's desk. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Knowledge Forge, where today we're going to look into the story of how the idea that explains all of life on Earth came close to never seeing the light of day. Today, biologists largely agree that all life on Earth has descended from a single ancestor, and over the course of billions of years, organisms have adapted to their environments in countless ways, which has ultimately led to the diversity of life we have today. Before Darwin, and even for a long time after, this idea was considered preposterous and even blasphemous. You see, in Darwin's day, species were thought to be fixed, created exactly as they are and unchanging over time. Some people, like Jean-Baptiste Lamarck, advocated for the idea of some form of change over time, but they were in the minority. This was the state of the world when in 1835, Charles Darwin boarded the HMS Beagle, bound for the Galapagos Islands. Darwin didn't set out to make a world-changing discovery when he arrived in the Galapagos. He was more interested in geology than biology and was more keen to study the relatively recent formation of the volcanic islands. That wasn't to say he wasn't interested in the living parts of the island at all. Over the course of 5 weeks, he collected numerous samples of plants, reptiles, and most importantly, birds, specifically finches. You see, the Galapagos Islands are perhaps the best location on Earth for Darwin to have stumbled into the discovery of natural selection. A somewhat isolated volcanic archipelago off the coast of South America, the Galapagos are now famous for the amount of genetic diversity that can be found among the species there. That diversity can be directly tied to the fact that the islands are isolated enough from one another that the species that live there are reproductively isolated from one another, while also having different weather patterns that incentivize the development of different traits among the same species. Darwin specifically noted that the finch species found on the island had different sized and shaped beaks that proved to be beneficial for the types of food that were available to them on their respective islands. Birds from islands where large seeds with tough outer shells were more common had larger beaks specialized for crushing, while birds from islands with an abundance of smaller seeds developed smaller, more dexterous beaks that were more adept at picking up the smaller morsels. It became clear to Darwin that this was evidence that species changed over time in response to geological or biological pressures, and he extrapolated that if natural selection was true, then all species might just be related to one another through evolution. He didn't immediately publish these ideas, though. For 15 years, he viewed the study of natural selection as his main hobby, but his primary profession was as a geologist. He mostly spent his time writing about his other findings while traveling aboard the Beagle. It was only when other scientists began to emerge with similar concepts to natural selection that Darwin decided to begin writing his ideas on the matter in the form of his book, On the Origin of Species. His book outlined the relatedness of various species through traits he called homologies, traits which were common between seemingly unrelated species. He even alluded to the idea that humans had several homologies with other animals, but didn't explicitly link them together, saying that the topic of human origins was too surrounded by prejudices. The book was met with mixed reviews. One of the very first reviews even said that such ideas should be left to theologians because they were too dangerous for the average reader. Many religious leaders considered the book to be heresy and determined that to read it and believe what was said was atheistic. Despite the controversy, Darwinism became a popular movement within the scientific community, and over the following decades, his work was expanded on and tested repeatedly. As time continues to pass, the theory of evolution by natural selection continues to stand the test of time. Today, the complete genomes of entire species can be mapped with relative ease, and the tree of life is coming ever more into focus. Each year, more species are cataloged, and each year the branches of the world's phylogeny become even more intertwined. All because Darwin finally got over the fear of being mocked for his observations. Thank you for watching. Hey, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you liked that one, you should check out this video about how the existence of humans can be traced back to a mistake. You can also click over here to subscribe to Knowledge Forge so you never miss a new video.